Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Just Saying Football with Jack and Sean. I'm your host, Sean Gann, alongside my partner, Jack McNicholas. We're here to bring you news, notes, weekly updates, and game analysis of your favorite teams from around the league. If you have not had the chance, go check out our website at justsayingfootball.com and follow us on Instagram at justsayingwjs for article and video updates. Monday Night Football is here. It is the first one of the year. We have the Ravens heading to Vegas to take on the Raiders. Now, before we jump into it, got a lot of injury news coming from Baltimore. So everyone's already known J.K. Dobbins tore his ACL in the last week of the preseason. Then that following week, Justice Hill tore his Achilles. So they brought in Le'Veon Bell and Devontae Freeman for some tryouts. Then just this week, Gus Edwards tore his ACL. So they have 3 running backs out. Then Marcus Peters tore his ACL. They're starting cornerback. So they're going to be left with Marlon Humphrey to take over CB1 duties. They just signed Le'Veon Bell and Devontae Freeman officially to their roster. The Ravens' backfield is going to look very, very different than in the past years that we've seen. So let's jump right into this game. Jack, what you got for us?
I mean, man, this is going to be very interesting. Like you said, it's going to be pretty different looking. But I have belief that in the first week right now, it's going to be Tyson Williams back there as the running back with Lamar Jackson. You know, they still have Lamar going up against this Raiders team that was 30th last year in points against. So I believe that the Baltimore Ravens still have a huge high potential to win this game. I think that, you know, the way that transpired last week was just crazy. Like you just said, all of that. And there's so many moving parts right now with them. But I think week one, they may not have everything figured out, but they really do have an easy winnable game here.
Nope, they absolutely do. And also, my bad, they signed Latavius Murray, not Freeman. That is my fault. So sorry about that. You know, I still think that the Ravens, despite all this, they're lucky that they're going up against a team like the Raiders in week one. If they were going up against maybe like the Chiefs or the Browns, you know, or even the Steelers, someone like that, I think you'd be a little bit more worried about this first game as you're trying to get through some of those speed bumps that come along with when you bring in a new player and they have to learn the system and get ready in such a short amount of time. You know, Le'Veon Bell was only signed 2 days ago.
Yeah.
It's Saturday right now. So
yeah,
that's a short amount of time to learn a playbook. So it's going to be a lot. So you know it's going to be a Lamar Jackson show. Flipping it on into the Raiders, new offensive line, completely shuffled around. You know, still got some guys from before, Incognito and Miller, but they're doing a full revamp. I think it's going to be interesting to see how Josh Jacobs and Kenyon Drake, the running backs for the Raiders, do against a pretty stout defensive front in the Ravens. Like they may not have Marcus Peters anymore, but they still got Calais Campbell, they still got Patrick Queen. They got Brandon Williams. They got Derek Wolfe.
Yeah.
They got Justin Houston in free agency.
Oh,
he's been a sack monster his entire career. His defense is still strong. The defense is still there and can still win them a lot of games.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I was talking about how the Raiders pretty much were the third worst team against points. The Ravens actually lit up the second least amount of points last year. I think, as you said, they've actually gotten a little bit better. The Marlon Humphrey hit, the Marcus Peters hit is actually a big one in my opinion. But the fact that they have Marlon Humphrey really does kind of ease the pain here for them. They have a lot of different key pieces out there. I think that's going to give Derek Carr and his backfield of Josh Jacobs and Kenyon Drake a big issue in this one. I don't like how the Raiders offensive line last year had so much chemistry, and now that they don't, they're going to have to build that back up. Against a team like this, like you were talking about, if would you be worried against Baltimore with a better team? I'm worried about the Raiders because Baltimore is a better team right now. I think Derek Carr is going to have a tough day, but I would like to see how he gets all his passing, options involved. Last year, we didn't really get to see anybody be the priority receiver. We expected Henry Ruggs, a top draft pick last year, to be a top guy. We didn't really see too much out of him as much as we wanted. Bryan Edwards, as Sean's mentioned, he's had some rave outside of camp, but we want to really see what he can do. We know Darren Waller is coming ready to go this season, but is going to be a really big test for Derek Carr. I think if he wins this game, it would be a big up for the Raiders, but they're in a tough division. They got, Denver with a good defense, Chargers up on the uphill, and Kansas City in there. So this is not a huge winnable game for me in Vegas, but I am excited more about Baltimore in this.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Baltimore in this one, despite all the injuries. You got Lamar Jackson and you got Mark Andrews, you got Marquise Brown. These guys have been around for a while. They know the system well. Hopefully, once Rashad Bateman comes back from IR, adds a little bit more to this passing offense. They still have a solid offensive line. Ronnie Staley, Bradley Bozeman. We got
Absolutely.
Kevin Zeitler in a trade. Alejandro Villanueva in free agency, the former Steeler. So this offensive line is so solid. Everything about them, I think they can still find ways to win game. I'm looking over at the Raiders team though, and I do like Derek Carr. I think he gets a
Mhm.
lot of flack, even though his statistics improve year in and year out. He does all that he
Sure.
can for this team. But outside of Darren Waller, you were right last year. We didn't really see any true wide receiver one coming from them. And this year, it's all going to be on Henry Ruggs. It's all going to be on Brian Edwards. It's all going to be on Hunter Renfro. Renfro
Yeah, Renfro as
is
well.
the most seasoned starter vet, and he's only been around for 3 years. Edwards and
Crazy.
Ruggs, they're coming into year two. This is a lot to ask of a young team with all these changes. Their defense still isn't there just yet for me. So I don't know if they're going to be able to slow down Lamar. I don't know if anyone can slow down Lamar. I don't know if anyone's, quote, figured him out yet. But that being said, I do expect this to kind of be a huge tight end matchup. These are the quarterback's favorite guys. You got Mark Andrews for the Ravens, who's been killing it ever since he joined them as a third-round pick. Then you got Darren Waller, who's been absolute animal for the Raiders since he joined them. And those are the main receivers for these teams. So I'm expecting it to be really run heavy and
Yeah.
really tight end heavy. I don't know if Ruggs or Brown or some of these other guys are really going to see the ball as much as these tight ends are in this game. So if you got Waller, you got Mark Andrews in the fantasy league, I'd be a little excited about this matchup.
Yeah, honestly, and from a fantasy perspective too, when you're looking at it Monday night, Josh Jacobs, I have Josh Jacobs in the league. I actually kept him, and despite the Kenyon Drake news, but I don't like him in this matchup at all. I don't really like any of the running backs. Not even, I like Tyson Williams as a flex play, but outside of that, it's not really solidified yet what these carries are going to look like for these two backfields. So, and it's going to be a different test. The Ravens have less numbers in their backfield and an easier matchup, and the Raiders have two running backs that could be fantasy relevant, but we just don't know how fantasy relevant each of them are going to be, and they have a bad matchup. So it's going to be interesting. But like you said, Darren Waller and Mark Andrews are going to be an absolute fire matchup. Like we will have a good tight end matchup. So that's a good one.
Yep, 2 top 5 tight ends. One more thing I do want to say about
Yeah.
I think it's going to be an interesting matchup is that the Raiders did sign Yannick Ngakoue in free agency this year. He was with the Vikings and the Ravens. Maybe now we can give a few pointers to that young defensive line with Max Crosby and Celine Farrell about how to attack this. So question for you, who's going to get more sacks in this game, Ngakoue or Calais Campbell?
Ooh, I think that Calais Campbell could definitely do it because it's more of a pocket quarterback situation for him where he can just disrupt the pocket and go get Carr. I think with Celine Farrell, he definitely had, Yannick Ngakoue, well, he has more of a revenge game to this where he didn't get, like we love a good revenge game too, but he is going to have to go sack Lamar. He's going to have to go catch that guy. And that is not an easy thing to do. He's one of the least sacked quarterbacks because he is able to make magic with his feet. So I think Carr is like open season right now with that newly revamped offensive line and that beast Calais Campbell, who's 6'8", can disrupt any offensive line in front of him.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. You hope that all the practicing that last year that Ngakoue had with the Ravens, that maybe he'll be able to get him once or twice. But like you said, Lamar Jackson makes magic happen. We saw it in college. We saw it in high school on the one play. We got to witness it in the NFL. But that is all the time that we have. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you everyone for listening.
Yeah, thank you all for listening. Always check us out for the Monday night games and all your weekend updates. Check us out on justsayingfootball.com, YouTube at Just Saying Football, and Just Saying No GWJS to get all your updates for when our videos coming out. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.